a few weeks ago. They beat 49ers fairly convincingly. And, really to me, the game came down to, even though he had 2 interceptions, Ryan Tannehill, I know Lugs will love this. Ryan Tannehill was just a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. I know he had a bad pick. He had a bad pick to set up the 14-0. No, I'm not. I'm saying Tannehill. I'm not saying Carson Wentz. I'll get to Carson Wentz, and then I'll let you talk, Lugs. Ryan Tannehill had a bad pick that set up 14-0 lead for the Colts. But after that, for the most part, he played very well. He did what a smart guy does. He just goes to A.J. Brown and just feeds A.J. Brown because A.J. Brown can do magical things when he gets the ball in his hand. You just feed it to him. And for the most part, he didn't play down. Carson Wentz, 2 interceptions.
The left-handed interception. Explain that to me for a man that's been in the league as long as he has.
I mean, look, I'm not going to completely – I might ever go completely to where Lugs is on Carson Wentz, but I will give him this. That interception, where he should have just taken the safety. How does he not understand he makes it worse by taking – but anyway, you're in the end zone, just eat the safety. Just eat it. And luckily, they were able to get a huge pass interference. They were able to get Jonathan Taylor into touchdown to go into overtime. And then in overtime, what do? He throws an awful interception into double coverage, and that was it. Titans kick a field goal win. Like I said, Ryan Tannehill, he's cooled off a little bit from the last 2 years, but he's still playing very good football.
Brings his game, brings it.
Yeah, and that's the difference. That's the difference between the Colts. I think if you look at them, and particularly with Derrick Henry now out for the year.
Right, what about that?
That hurts them in a big bad way because that takes away – I mean, that was a major, major headache for defenses right there.
Major blow. I agree.
Yeah, and I know they signed Adrian Peterson, but again, let's be honest, Adrian Peterson is 36 years old. I know he's in phenomenal shape by any metric of a 36-year-old, but he's a 36-year-old running back. And
I didn't know he was that young, to be honest.
I was thinking he was closer to 40. So
probably in terms of wear and tear, he is. I don't know what they're going to do. This will really prove their coaching staff's mettle to see what they can do from here on out. But much respect to Tennessee Titans on what they've accomplished. And like I said, I feel for the Colts because I will give it up to Lugs on this. If their quarterback just played a little more sensibly. And also, I will say this too. I don't want them to do what they did to Derrick Henry because I feel on some level Derrick Henry got injured because he was running the ball almost 30 times a game, which is insane.
True.
In this point. That being said, on the other side of the spectrum, you look at what Jonathan Taylor has done these last few games. For this to be such a close game and for him to only get 16 carries in a vital game against a divisional leader, how you don't give him more carries when he has been so awesome
right
these last 3 or 4 games, I have no idea. But anyway.
I got to say, this to me was one of those season-changing games that the Colts really had to have. And, I'll be honest, I've been really hard on Carson Wentz, but he did what I said last week. He pulled, it was like Frankenstein and fire. When he sees fire, fire, he kind of loses himself. I mean, the man has physical talent, but he's got $1 million body and I think about a $24 brain.
Man, that was not a good Boris Karloff, by the way, right there. That fire thing you did. That was a little off, dude.
Well, so I'm doing the best I can with,
in the remote news unit. I know that. Yeah. Okay. Roll on.
Here.
He'll workshop it.
I think that was it for Indianapolis. I don't think what do they got? Maybe a shot at the wild card.
Well, the Titans have it wrapped up, right? I mean, they already got 6 wins. Indy's only got 3. It's theirs to lose. So
yeah.
That's the thing. Without Derrick Henry, we don't know. this
But a
team
lot of football to be played, as they say, right?
That's the thing is they still have they still have 9 games to go.
9 games, yep.
So, and without Derrick Henry, that's a big part of it. Like, again, Tannehill, who got paid, I believe, last year, he's going to earn his money. So let's put it that way. If they're going to hold on to the South, like they're not out of it. But luckily, to be fair to Lugs, I feel Wentz might give away at least 2 more games out of those 9. So, like, maybe Lugs is right.
Okay, can we talk about that Jets-Bengals game? How about that kid from Western Kentucky, Mike White? Did you know the first to throw a 400-yard game in his first time starting QB since 1950? Mike White. Let's hear it for Mike White. Come on.
Ray,
Come on, Mike White.
The defining point of that game for me was that double reverse and then pass back to Mike White in the end zone for the 2-pointer. I mean, that just said these boys want it. They're going to do whatever they can. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, he had his moments. Jamar Chase. I mean, everybody showed up for the Bengals. It's just right at that moment of crunch, the Jets pulled it out. You got to give it to them. I mean, that's 2 wins. So if that's all they do this season, I guess they're okay with it. And it was funny to watch the New York fans. They were applauding, but it was like
they weren't sure.
I don't know. So anyway, entertaining game, very very much so.
I think my main takeaway from this game was I'm not saying it sets up a quote unquote blueprint for at least the Bengals, but like. The main reason they won is like you look at how they consistently against the Bengals defense. Mike White was able to hit the short dump offs to Michael Carter was their leading receiver, who's their starting running back. The Jets, he had 95 yards receiving. Their third leading receiver was Ty Johnson, their second running back. And then Crowder and Elijah Moore. Now, Elijah Moore can be a deep threat, but again, they use both Crowder, who mainly is kind of a move the chains underneath guy, and Elijah Moore, how they used him in this game. He was underneath. He just kept on hitting guys underneath and just, they kind of exposed, I guess, the linebackers, because usually linebackers are on running backs. They expose them, I guess, in terms of like that's a weakness of the Bengals defense is that their inability to stop receiving running backs. And to be fair, that's what a good point is like, hey, you can't stop this. All right, we're going to gouge you till you do. So I mean, it was a good game plan. Mike White played excellent. And look, I love Joe Burrow. Obviously, I'm the head of Joe Burrow, and if I'm going to crap on Carson Wentz for a bad decision, the main reason the Jets got the lead late in the game is Joe Burrow tried to fire a ball where a guy was already in his face. He should have just ate the interception.
Eat the ball.
He got picked, set up Jets in the red zone, and it allowed them to take the lead. The last caveat I will say on this game, I'm not going to say they were going to win the game, but I don't know if you all saw the end of the game. There was a 3rd and like 15 where Mike White threw it to Ty Johnson. And the DB for the Bengals, he got as low as he could, and then Ty Johnson got low and actually initiated the contact, and they called the helmet to helmet on Wilson for the Bengals, and that allowed them to keep the drive going where they should have kicked it back and they should have had a chance to take the lead and win the Bengals. So I think that was only I usually don't like to kill the refs on these things, but like. And I don't even say it's them. Like, it's something that the league needs to look into, because clearly Ty Johnson initiated that contact, not the DB. The poor defense, they can't do anything right. So
all of a sudden, the AFC North, you got the Ravens with 5 wins, the Bengals with 5, and the Steelers and Browns each with 4. So it's a 4-dog race right there now. That's interesting.
And actually, to go back to Lugs's point, that's why Indy's out of it now. Is you look at it, all those teams have a better division. That's 4 teams in one division that have better record than them. So,
I was just going to mention that the hoodie took out another up and coming quarterback. He seems to specialize in whoever the hot quarterback of the moment of the young ones. He took him and. Mac Jones, man, in that game, I think he came Well, he matured quite a bit. I'll say that. So anyway, that was one of those where you're like, I was going into it thinking, the Chargers got this. Not with a hoodie doing what he does. So it was interesting to watch that game.
I kind of like what you said is like Herbert. This is the second time playing him. Now, actually, it's even though his numbers aren't good. I mean, he was 18 to 35 for 223, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's a lot better. He was completely embarrassed last year, so this is a huge mark improvement from a year ago. So it's still not great, but you are. But and again, Mac Jones, his numbers echo that of Justin Herbert's. But again, he managed the game just because his defense was playing so well, and their running attack with Damian Harris in particular, even though his yards per carry weren't great, like it's a very plucky New England team. Like Mac Jones is solid. He's definitely playing the best of the rookie quarterbacks. It's not even close. Like there's not even close. He's definitely playing the best. He was put in the best situation though.
Exactly.
And obviously his skill set on what usually Josh McDaniels wants his quarterbacks to do actually lined up perfectly, where I don't think any of the other quarterbacks lined up perfectly. It's definitely coaching staff should adjust. Some of them have adjusted. Some of them still are trying to fight to try to morph this talent into something else, which almost never works. But anyway, yeah, it was a good win. Patriots now are 4-4. Again, it's another team in front of the Colts.
Yep.
While it's a lost season, probably for the Colts. And New England is playing Carolina next week, so that's probably another win for New England with the way Sam Darnold's playing. So yeah, it's good. New England is moving back to where we thought they'd be this year. So
could we get Matt Nagy on the some sort of protocol so he can't show up this week coming up? Because without him, Justin Fields had himself a good game. They didn't win,
right?
But it was fun to watch. It was entertaining, and let's be honest, we want to be entertained. And hey, Garoppolo, come on, my man, bad legs and all, he runs 2 of them.
Yeah, he did.
Who would have thought?
He did.
So that was an interesting game to me as well. Just the overall fun of Justin Fields. He finally got to do what Justin Fields does.
Yes, I'd say that the big thing, the big takeaway out of, I guess for both sides of it, I guess starting with Chicago's offense, the main thing is Bill Lazor kind of allowed Fields to use his legs more, which I think everyone, obviously you don't want him to try to replicate being Lamar, because again, even as talented as a runner as he is, I don't think there is another Lamar in terms of running the ball. But at least give him 6. He had 10 in this game for 100 yards. At least give him 7 runs, hopefully 4 of them designed, just because, again, that stresses a defense in a way. So defenses have to play your offense differently. And it just makes it harder to try to send the house at them if you have designed run.
Keep it guessing.
Yes. Yeah. And that's so, he threw the ball well. He had at least receptions of 20 yards, 19 yards, 22 yards, 16 yards, 10 yards by 6 different receivers.
Yeah.
So he was moving the ball around. Again, he still has, obviously, the sacks. A lot of them were on him, just in terms of he is slow. I will give it that, in terms of registering stuff. Yeah. Releasing stuff and
check
stuff.
downs.
That is true. Right. So but usually that'll get better with age.
Yeah.
So I just feel, and defense, not having Khalil Mack, that was huge, because their defense for the most part, I thought, played well up until a point, but because they were back and forth. But the big play that changed the whole momentum of the game was the Debo